Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of No Hold Time. We are on location and it's Brian Bremer is joining all the way out in sunny California. Good to see you, Brian.
You too? On location's fun.
Yeah.
We've been only Omaha locations for the last 12, 15, 20 episodes.
Yeah. Well, if you've watched or listened to all of our other podcasts, all of the other episodes, if you listen to the first one, we talk about the whole genesis of this podcast is that after events or big customer meetings, QBRs, things like that, we'd come back and talk about what we learned from our customers or from the events. And full circle moment, we are actually in the middle of an event right now. So, Brian, tell us about this event.
Yeah, it should be lunchtime for the event. This is a event focused on customer experience. I think the term is customer support and experience, and it's brought a bunch of leaders together to do roundtables. It's brought a bunch of leaders to have, keynote speakers talking about, what they're focused on, whether it's CX plus employee engagement, whether it's everything is AI, even though people always say, I don't want to talk about AI. They always talk about AI in every single speaking event they have to. Mm-hmm. Great crowd, great titles, great people, great networking. And then so not only are we an amazing and proud sponsor of the event, we get a chance to meet some of our clients. A lot of our clients come to these things, so we get some time to spend with them too.
Cool. I'm going to pull on the meeting clients at events thing. Before we get too serious about it, whenever I found out about this event and it being in San Diego, I thought, I know why Brian wants to go to San Diego. Team, for a little inside scoop is a lot of our teammates are based in Omaha, Nebraska. And one of the two things I always hear from people in Omaha is that Omaha has the best zoo in the United States. So when I found out this was in San Diego, I thought, well, Brian wants to go because he wants to go prove it. So are you one of those people, Brian, that says that the San Diego Zoo is not as good as the Omaha Zoo?
Very much so. San Diego Zoo is always number 2.
Mm-hmm. I
can go on a diatribe of why. It's not why I came to San Diego, though. A, they pay me to come here. So
yeah.
I got that going for me, too. Fish tacos. Hard to beat fish tacos from Omaha compared to San Diego. And
so you're saying that the fish tacos in Omaha are better?
No, I will not say that on record.
Okay.
No. The zoo sinks. I'm just kidding. No, the zoo, San Diego Zoo's fine. Omaha's better. That's not why I came, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Why'd you come?
Well, I was really excited about getting to interview and have someone else join. We've had 2 guests now, and we're going to start to make this a thing. We have a guest lined up for our next recording session here in this room we're really excited about. I won't say who it is, but it's someone that lives and breathes CX, so we're excited to talk with her. And then we're going to make this a habit, right? We have another big event coming up in Las Vegas, early June, and we have at least 2 more guests signed up. So I am excited that this is a thing now. People want to join this conversation, which is fun, talking to people, learning about what they do, what they feel passionate about, and learning about who they are in their personal lives too. I think we've said that before. It's good to learn people's whys, why they get up in the morning, why they do what they do. And that tells you a lot about who they are in their professional lives as well. So that's why I'm here, is to keep this show on the road.
Plus, an expenses paid trip to San Diego is not one you turn down very often. Yeah. Let's just be real.
I will say San Diego is my second favorite city in the United States.
What's number 1? That's a two-ball question.
Chicago.
Is the zoo better?
Well, we have 2 zoos in Chicago. We have the Brookfield Zoo and Lincoln Park Zoo. So we have options. You can go if you're in the city or in the suburbs. I mean, man, don't get me started on Chicago.
Does Chicago prop the zoo up as much as Omaha people?
No, because we have other things going on.
Oh, okay,
No.
fair enough.
All right, let's go away from that. Okay, so I know we're early in the event. What have you learned so far?
A lot of similar challenges, depending on or not depending on the vertical. So, how do you an interesting topic? Even though all these events say AI, don't talk about it. I'm tired of talking about it. Like we said a minute ago, it's included in everybody's piece. I heard already this morning someone that I thought was an interesting topic. They said, look, most boards or CEOs are all telling their companies, you got to do something in AI. Check the box this year. And I'll have to give the vendor credit. The vendor said, I hate that that's the phrase. I think the other way should be go focus on a business case and figure out how AI can be a tool to finish that business case.
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting because we've heard that a lot this year is I got to check the AI box. Just put a little bit of AI into the CX space. Just do this little one thing. And you're starting to see maybe a little, I wouldn't say revolt, but you're starting to see focus. It's probably a better way of putting it.
Yeah, I think people are just think of it as like, hey, what is this thing and AI? And now it's find a way to make AI work for our use case, right? I think that's what I'm seeing too. I overheard a funny conversation at an event a couple weeks ago where someone asked their client, do you have an AI strategy? And the client was like, if you are asking me that question, then we're not aligned. Like, yes. Right? You know what I've also found really cool about these events is that oftentimes we see our customers there, but it's not always the people that we deal with on a day-to-day, right? So it's really cool because let's just say you see someone else, a different leader from the organization that we partner with, and they're on a panel or they're talking, and it's cool to get insight from the people that we work with on a normal basis and we have a relationship with, and you know what their goals are, but hearing other people at that same company talk about their goals and how they might be different is really good because you want to make sure you're supporting the entire organization, not just one piece, right?
Yeah. We have a bunch here. In fact, I took some notes, not knowing we're going to talk about this, but there was an interesting client of ours, been a client for years, working on the conversation was about just automation, and the vendor that she was being sponsored by is a chatbot company. And she said something interesting that I thought was worth it. She said, average handle time, for those of you keeping up, the average handle time is how long it takes for a call, and normally it's focused on the contact center people of the whole thing. She said, average handle time should not be an agent metric. It should be almost a focus on automation effectiveness. So instead of, in the old days, now even, agents are sometimes penalized if they go over a certain threshold for time, right? Time equals money.
Yeah.
You can only take so many calls in an hour. Her point was, if the automation does its job right, then the people time should be longer because the tasks are more complex or more critical or higher in touch points.
Right.
And so I thought that was really interesting. And the other thing that I thought was interesting too, and we've said this on another podcast episode, was first call resolution to her is kind of almost the critical metric. It's a bit of, there's other things too, but she said it's so imperative to be right that it tells her if the things that all of us vendors, her people, her suppliers, her contact center agents, her employees, if they're doing it right, your first call rate, resolution rate should be amazing because they're only calling one time within so many hours. What else did I hear today that I thought was good?
Well, let's pick on that first topic. Okay. I like that. It's something I hadn't thought about, right? And so we've talked about this in many of our podcasts. We want to help our customers solve the 80% of those calls, right? Like the easy stuff, right? And we haven't talked, I know that we think about it, but we haven't talked about how if we are solving the easier things and we're upskilling your agents to solve some of the more difficult things, and one of the things that'll happen because of that is it's possible that the agent calls might become a little longer, or that average call might be longer, but it's because that should be a good sign. It means that you are picking off all of the easy tasks and that you are now concentrating your agent's time on the difficult things, which they should be helping with, right?
Mm-hmm. So then the next evolution is, how do you make the agents empowered enough to make those complex calls even better and more efficient? I shouldn't say shorter, but more efficient. Because the same group, the supplier, said a stat that is interesting, and I've heard it before. The average call center turnover rate is almost 100% a year. Some people will say higher.
Yeah. Yep.
And the point was their contact center rate, not the client, but their clients, it's the highest rate they've seen in 40 years. So complex tasks, which may put more stress on the human, high turnover rates, so you have to continue to retrain people. So now the technology is moving into, we've talked about this too, is empowering those people to be efficient and give them support, but also, give them things like breaks, like automate health checks. And how are you doing today? Read this poem and take a moment of Zen for 5 minutes that AI said the call was hard, or something like that. So it's been an interesting shift back and forth of how do you solve those, I should say, simpler tasks, but less complex tasks, but make sure that the agents are taken care of, because your turnover's high, pressure's high, all that good stuff. And frankly, they're the brand. They're the face of the brand when it comes to it.
Yeah, I think that's something that we haven't highlighted enough, is that, and look, I know CXOs think about this, but if you're thinking about your brand, the people that are talking to your customers outside of whatever it is you're selling, a product, a service, the people who are speaking with your customers are also your brand. And you want to ensure that those people are equipped mentally, physically, and have the tools at their fingertips to ensure that they are having a successful conversation with your customers, to ensure that the brand is being well represented.
Yeah, I mean, the equation anymore is customer experience plus user experience plus employee experience equals the goal or the definition, right? Yeah. So you have to keep that EX focus, and that was a lot of what was talked about this morning too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, outside of just specifically this event, why, I know you go to more events probably than anyone at our company. Why do you enjoy, why do you think it's worth your time to continue to invest your time, because it takes time away from your girls and work too, because you're traveling and stuff. Why is it beneficial for you?
Being in this industry, we have to keep up a bit on all things, trends, changes, technologies, competitors. I find a lot of value. It's funny because as a supplier or vendor of this, you go to the cocktail reception at the end of the show, and it's 2 hours long, and the folks that are not vendors probably spend about 30 to 45 minutes in it. Then at the end, it's just a bunch of us suppliers that are all kind of fighting for the same customers. And so you get to have even some one-on-one time with them. Like, how's your business? Yeah, some of it's not the most truthful pieces, but you get a feel for, this. It's just like they're coming to the show, the clients and the attendees, because they're trying to talk to their peers about problems and challenges and solutions. We're doing the same thing with vendors a little bit.
Yeah.
Problems, challenges, solutions. I also find a ton of value just listening to the speakers and getting, to your point earlier, to meet with leaders of companies that we do a lot of business with that I've never met. saw them on an org chart once and know that they've got influence on the decisions made for the business. Want to make sure we at least meet them, talk to them about what they need, and connect the dots. Has been a lot of that. Beautiful places. Some places are better than others. San Diego, awesome spot. But I find a ton of value in these events because I hear, really where everyone's head is at in this space, and we can help even just have a consulting conversation. I was talking this morning to a company, not a client of ours. I was just having coffee at a table, and they're the train company we're in Southern California. They run trains up and down the coast, subways, all the above. And it was interesting because we were just talking about how they have, their clientele pays $1.75, right? So a lot of times their executive team is focused on the fact that they're not the highest dollar business, and so they don't spend a lot of money in keeping their clients happy. And the lady that I was talking to was amazing. She says, when I came in, I tried to change that mindset. Like, they're all there for a reason. Be client centric.
Yeah.
Don't cut because you think that the customer is a low dollar figure.
Yeah.
Because that $1.75 customer could have a lifetime value of, XYZ.
Right.
You have to continue to spend it. And so I just thought that was an interesting, and those are the conversations I really like getting into, because it's like, I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm just hearing where their heads are at. So, if I can help consulting, great. If not, I've met a friend that I can talk to.
Something too.
Yeah.
You know what I like too is I like going to events where customers are there as well, and even if it's a competitor, right, saying something, and I'm learning from a competitor, and then I have a conversation with that customer and say, hey, I thought this was really cool. Did that resonate with you? And they're like, no, I don't see a use case, right? And so it's good to have that conversation at events like that with current partners, because sometimes something that we think is important doesn't resonate with a customer. And so building a customer advisory board or a customer advocacy board where you have the ability to go to events like this with customers and get feedback also kind of helps build roadmap, which is really good. That's been beneficial. I agree with you. Sometimes you learn things that you're just not expecting. Like, we were at an event in Florida and we talked to a provider, like a security ID and V company, and he just talked to us about how they identify and do things differently. And we were like, oh, we hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
And so, like, in our case, we think like, oh, we could probably do that. But, that's something that we're learning, and then we bring it to the product team, and, let's just see if we can do that. But I think that we learn from others, we learn from customers, and so it's a good thing to take back. And that's why we created this, right? Mm-hmm. We initially started just coming back together and talking about how we learned something and say like, hey, do your customers ask you about this? One of the first things that we talked about was you went to an event in Nashville, and it was a bank that was doing security questions to help their call become shorter. And I was just in Nashville with that customer. So it's, you heard something that you thought would be interesting to one of my customers. And then I went and talked to the customer like, yeah, I think that is interesting. And so it's good to have, it's like we're building a network of information that we can share amongst ourselves and our customers to help improve. So that's why it's, I think, really beneficial to go to these things.
Yeah, and I think it gives attendees a chance also. I know it does because I hear it often. There is so much rapid growth of technology in the CX space. It gives them a forum to hear it, see it, understand what's changing. We've been in business 35 years, and we've seen the change in the last 3 exponentially. It's been such a big shift. Thanks to startup, thanks to investment money, people. AI, interestingly enough, feels like it's being invested more in the customer support section than anything else. There's some stuff out there but I think it gives everybody a chance to really feel where the trends are going. And I think it's great. I think anybody should try to come to a few events a year. And there are various vendors that do events, and I think it's good to to be diverse. We are. That's why we market that way.
I know we have a couple more days left. Anything you're looking forward to that you're excited about before you head home to tropical Omaha?
We have a lot of socks to give away. Shout out to Sam, who's our event coordinator, who's amazing.
Yeah.
The socks, here's a customer experience message. Socks came in, lots of socks, because we're shipping them to other events, and this is kind of the one-stop place. They came in with the wrong tags. So she had to call the vendor, get new, they call them belly bands. I just found this out. The things that hold the socks in place. She had to call them they overnighted like 300 of them. And the poor lady had to wrap all new socks for us on behalf of us. Anyway.
Why don't we use that? You know, we started a trend in our last season or whatever where we shared a good or bad customer experience.
Yep.
We haven't done that.
You're reading my mind.
Bring it back.
You're reading my mind.
Give it to me.
I am speaking third party. I did not on the phone I don't know how it went. All I know is Sam doesn't want to talk about socks anymore for a while.
Okay.
So I think, A, the reason she had to reach out is just like we've talked about, a defect happened. Mm-hmm. B, the company gave her an option, let me overnight a bunch of shipments or stuff to you. But C, she had to do it all herself. So I don't know, we'll have to ask her. We'll ask her for the next one, whether that's maybe we'll let the listeners, that good or bad? From a customer experience perspective. I don't know.
So they gave her an option on how they wanted the solution to be solved, or how the issue to be solved.
Yes. You could either wait a couple of days or we could overnight them to you. And since the show was 24 hours later, she had the overnight happen and she spent a lot of time getting paper cuts. So
Sam had to rewrap them.
Sam had to rewrap all of the couple hundreds of pairs of socks we have. By the way, if you're here, this will be played later. If you want socks, DM us. We'll mail you some socks.
Yeah.
We'll mail you with the right label too, because Sam was, bless her heart, fixed them all for us.
Okay.
Anyway, back to your question about the rest of the week. Looking forward to having some more client meetings. We've got an interview today with another person in this space. That should be fun and a good time. She's amazing, and we're going to get to understand what she does and what makes her tick.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to just more of inspiring, panels. I think you get a bunch of people together, they get to bounce ideas around. Our boss is on a panel today. It'd be interesting to see what he says, even though you and I talk to him all the time.
Yeah.
What happens when you put him in the public spotlight? No pressure, Matt.
So here's a challenge for Jake. You have to frame this into a short and tag Brian and myself, so that we can get people to DM us and we will send them a sock.
Send socks. Or
just one sock.
Then you have to have the meeting to have the second sock.
And then after we connect, we'll send you the second sock. No, we'll send you a pair of socks. We're excited about that. Yeah, you know why I'm excited about our interview later today is this person is a self-proclaimed CX expert. I don't think that we go as far as saying that we're experts. I think our company as a whole, we are experts. We have the team to be able to help our partners and future customers. But I'm excited to learn this afternoon.
She's done far many podcasts in the CX space than our two knuckleheads. But
over 100.
Yeah, and probably more if you got down to it. So it'd be interesting to hear some of her favorite guests and things that happen. So, Jake, you have to play this before that interview, by the way.
Yeah. You have 30 minutes to edit this and post it to the internet, Jake.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know you like to rap. I'll let you do it.
Okay. Thanks. San Diego, it's been fun. We're here for another couple days. DM us for more socks. If we still have them, you can have them. If not, we'll find you something. So anyway, like, subscribe. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. There's a coffee store or a coffee place in here. Did you find it?
No, I had coffee up north.
One of those north guys.
Northern SoCal. I'm a Northern SoCal guy.